Hi there, welcome to some of the latest news within the Kenny Veach and MCave mystery. A new article has shown up in recent time. I'm going to be analysing it today to check for new information or possibly misinformation. It's important we keep up with that, and so I can also update my Kenny Veach MCave article playlist. And furthermore, if you do stick around long enough in this video, you will find out an update regarding Really Robin, and even Susan Veach, the sister-in-law to Kenny Veach, a family member, has spoken out too in response. All that will be shown later today in this video. Don't go anywhere. If you are interested in recent coverage and you've missed out on those key videos, strange findings, creepy stuff going on, top right corner of the screen up there, you'll see an eye symbol. Click on that, you get the drop down box and the full playlist too. And feel free to share a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts, your opinions, your questions. Leaving comments does help spread awareness for these videos so then more people can view them in the future and learn about the case. And there'll also be a pinned comment down below with additional links if you do want to check that out. Without further ado, let's look at the latest news article. The interesting thing is with this article, it's by the Lad Bible, and I'm sure they've done an article about this in the past. So what's ultimately changed since? The title reads, YouTube explorer vanished after going in search of cave he promised to find, and people still don't know what happened. What does that mean by people still don't know? Kind of grouping everyone together? I think that's jumping the gun, because there are supposedly some people out there that do know what happened and where Kenny is. Now, I've done my own videos and looked at bits of material along the way to suggest it, that he could well be alive, that he isn't missing in the desert area, and that can be a separate video too in the future, because you know, there's a lot more to it, even just the area and environment. So just be on the lookout for it. A little caption below. Kenny Veach went looking for a particular cave after it made his body vibrate and was never seen again. This is by Joshua Nair, published 1642, 14th of October 2024. Very recent, isn't it? They've not even mentioned the person's name in the title. They've not even mentioned the name of the cave, you know, the key characteristics, the M cave. That's like how it was worded by Kenny Veach. That's how it's characterized because of the shape of it, the letter M, a capital. It's deep, dark, not too wide, kind of narrow, on ground level, but also on the side of a mountain, which could mean higher up, higher elevations. As I said, Kenny did contradict himself. These articles never seem to mention that. We're not off to a good start already, but let's begin reading and see what updates. The fact that I believe they've already done coverage on this in the past, maybe 2023, what has ultimately changed, right? A YouTuber. Now, Kenny Veach wasn't truly a YouTuber in that sense, but he did grow with time. But the main reason why he grew and became more popular and got lots of views is because of the bad event, or the supposed bad event. Kind of like when people care when it's too late, that sort of thing. So after he vanished, went looking for an ominous cave, still hasn't been found as people have been left puzzled. Kenny Veach lived in Las Vegas, USA, loved hiking, caving, being known online as Snakebit McGee on social media platforms with an S. Now that's questionable already, because you're saying more than one social media profile he used the name Snakebit McGee. Is that entirely true? Because on YouTube, that's what his username was. On Facebook, you have to use your real name or just a real human name in general. And on Facebook, he's known as Kenneth Lee Veach, his full name, including middle name. So he's not called Snakebit McGee on Facebook. He's not on TikTok whatsoever. It wasn't even around at the time. I don't believe he has an Instagram account either. So what other social media platforms is he using Snakebit McGee? Was there any old forums, old pages in the past, maybe what Atari looked into? Did that username Snakebit come up back then? Was there any like UFO chats, you know, things like that, discussion pages or what? Because I've only ever seen Kenny's username, Snakebit, on YouTube, and yet this article's implying that there's more than one account with that name. So unless they've got it wrong once again, as for research, new to me, Kenny Veach posted videos of his journeys on YouTube, but there was one comment that stood out. See, this is yet another strange thing. You read this for the very first time. Kenny Veach posted more than one video of his journeys, which would imply hikes. Well, on Kenny's channel, there is only one hike video. So you could say, well, the people that wrote this article are wrong. But whilst they may blindly be wording it like this, which could imply recklessness, there is some truth within what's said here, maybe unknown to them, the one that published it and created, is that Kenny Veach supposedly did have multiple videos of his hikes, his journeys out there, but they were deleted with time. I saw it myself, but it was really, really early on. It was at a time of when you wouldn't anticipate things to be deleted or taken away. Just imagine if a screenshot was taken. That would have been interesting, wouldn't it? Would have added to the mystery and reinforced certain points, trying to cover up stuff, possibly. But I'm not the only one. More and more people with time have reached out and said, yeah, I remember his channel and his videos on there. So what was the whole reason behind taking those down? The videos that were taken down, were they more important than his main hike video? I wonder. That's just a screenshot from then. Scrolling down. Kenny revealed one intriguing cave that he came across that was shaped like a perfect capital M, adding, I always enter every cave I find, but as I began to enter this particular cave, my whole body began to vibrate. Closer I got to the cave entrance, the worse the vibrating became. So basically, the closer he got, it felt worse and it kind of scared him off. But the weird thing is like, it depends how you interpret it, because it's worded here, now it is a quote, I began to enter the cave. That would imply you've gone through the entrance way and you're so far in. But then you say the closer I got to the entrance, as if you were still on the outside, the vibrating became worse. So then you suddenly hightailed out of there. So even when Kenny Veach is describing his own experience, he contradicts himself. Either you're in the cave or you're not. If you're approaching the entranceway, and before you even get into the cave, before you even enter the entranceway, if you hightail out of there, you never explored the cave. You never went inside. You never stepped foot over that boundary line. You get what I'm saying? And yet he's saying, I entered the cave, or went so far in. Yeah, this sounds silly. What he probably should have said was, I began to get closer to the cave in anticipation of entering it. Now, the other problem is with entering caves is it's just not possible up to now. Not many, but a range of hikers have gone out there in the area where Kenny was, and they could not find a cave deep enough. All of them were shallow, unless it's been filled in, covered up, caved in, etc. with time. Anyway, this would then spiral into one of Nevada's biggest mysteries, as several fans of his encouraged him to look for the cave again and film what happened, which he then did. This is the thing, yeah, maybe a handful of people encouraged him to go back out there, but then there was another wave of individuals that said, no, come on, BS, where is it? You got to prove it to us. Bit of pushy behaviour. Now, I think whether Kenny was motivated or not by people online through hate, through positivity, I think he was determined to still do it regardless, because he likes hiking and he's somewhat intrigued by it himself, or supposedly is. Equipped with a 9mm handgun and a camera, he came and went. It wasn't just a camera, he had a tripod too. Posting a video of what he found, though he sadly couldn't find the cave again, with no clues as to where the elusive M cave really was. But then he was encouraged to go back a third time in 2014, which turned out to be his final hike. Now, how it's worded here, in total, which I'm guessing, including his final hike, was 3 times out there. 2 times successful, 1 time recorded, final hike not recorded supposedly, never returned back. But depending how you listen into the audio of Kenny's video, I think he's been there a few more times. Hold that thought, wait for another video to drop at some point and we'll look into that. It's very interesting, considering his experience not quite adding up with his knowledge of the area. Anyway, telling family he was going for a short overnight trip. He would never be seen again, as his disappearance would make headlines on local news stations. It's interesting though, isn't it? An overnight trip, and then 7-8 days later the girlfriend decided to report him as missing? That sounds a bit too late, doesn't it? Now, the girlfriend will tell you that she did it as soon as possible, but if you look at the official police report, no, it tells a different story. In a previous video, centered around Area 51, he explained that he had been in more caves than I can count, adding that he'd be doing this sort of thing for over 20 years, all by himself. In a previous video centered around Area 51. What the hell does that mean? Is this talking about one of Kenny Veach's own videos? Or more so, it's just a poorly worded description and reference to son of an Area 51 technician, in which Kenny Veach left a comment on that video and then there was a big thread? That's a possibility. But the professional was nowhere to be seen after setting off in the Mojave Desert, though authorities found a clue. I don't think Kenny Veach was a professional. He's injured himself in the past, needed to be airlifted when he blew his left leg out on a mountain. He got bit by a snake at some point, which was quite serious, hence probably why he used it as his username in the future. Kenny pushed his body, didn't take enough water or intake, as for food too. Very dehydrated, exhausted, such as in the unreleased hike footage from his October hike, which he never included in his main video. He pushed himself maybe a bit too far. A professional wouldn't do that, they would have it under control. And Kenny being under-equipped with, equipment, clothing, bits and bobs like that, making it harder for himself. Maybe he felt like he had it under control, but ultimately he didn't, and it led to consequences. Veach's M Cave hike video showed him standing by an abandoned mineshaft. 8 days after he vanished, closer to that, when he was actually reported missing by the girlfriend, volunteers found his mobile phone next to it, highlighting that he had gone looking for the M Cave. Again, well, supposedly at least. Take in mind that when the volunteers found his mobile phone, it was the 22nd of November 2014. But this was all that was found, as Red Rock Search and Rescue Commander Dave Cummings told News 3 at the time. We found his cell phone close to a very vertical old mineshaft and we can't find another trail. In other words, the scent wore off. Why? Where could it have gone? It doesn't mean that he's down the mineshaft, but we have tracked him as far as we can. We are having our other crews come in from the search areas. However, this hasn't stopped theories from flying in left, right and centre. Oh, but you know what? These theories, more effort and time has been put into that than the search and rescue that did a half-arsed attempt in the past, right? Because as for details, additional findings, the vehicle itself, contents within, it's lacking. The phone, the condition, lacking. Communication, lacking. There's stubborn awkwardness out there with certain people. Even experienced hikers like Jeff Clark, maybe some others, maybe Sean, tried reaching out and haven't really received many answers. That's a problem. Now, see that photo there? It's not the M Cave, but it's actually opposite the supposed covered up M Cave just before Picture Canyon, as if you were heading, I believe, west-ish, and then if you used to turn down Picture Canyon left, and then you'd be going south. It's just before all that. And this cave, what you see on screen, is what Kenny supposedly got scared of when he zoomed in. He said, looks like. He doesn't finish his sentence. Interesting. Then he says, no, I'm not going up there. Why not? Scared? Or because of timing? Lack of energy? Just makes you think. Now, whilst yes, Sean Horlicker went up there in 2015 or 2016, and didn't find anything, one of those things, isn't it? If there's anything out there living, whether it be human related or from elsewhere, a creature of some sort or a monster, it's not going to stick around in one place until it's found later like hide and seek, is it? It might move on. At a time of when Kenny Veach was passing by the area, maybe he saw something and that's what scared him. Or he sensed that there was a presence of a dark force and that's why he didn't want to stick around, because he did start moving quicker when walking. It's worth taking in mind. A user claiming to be his girlfriend, which doesn't sound good already, does it? But enough people seem to put their faith and belief in that online supposed girlfriend, as we've seen, commented on his hike video, claiming that he probably will not be found for many, many months, if ever. Now, I don't remember hearing that quote. Oh, he won't be found for many, many months, but maybe a bit later he will be. It's a weird way of wording it. Showing that he loved exploring caves and mine shafts, often taking many safety precautions. What? Often taking safety precautions? If that's really the case, then why did he not on his M Cave hike? Oh, because he's suicidal, so he's not going to take great care. He's going to be reckless, and that's why he died. No. We'll scrap that BS, because on his recorded hike, he was unprepared, under-equipped, pushed his body, and we saw the side effects of it afterwards when he returned back to his vehicle, right? So I think that's a load of BS, taking safety precautions. Really? He's got injured badly in the past, and then on his M Cave hike route, he was exhausted there. She then shockingly claimed, "I want you to know that I do not think Kenny had an accident. I believed he committed suicide. He battled depression for many years and would not take medication or see a doctor." And take in mind, this girlfriend, Sharon Pilgrim, is in the mental health field, mental health expert. And look what happened, supposedly. But take in mind that we don't have any hard evidence or proof that Kenny Veach committed suicide out there. No gun, no bullet, no blood, no bones have been found. Kenny could still be alive. You never know. The girlfriend also revealed that he didn't take his camera with him as he normally does, so he didn't intend to film anything. Now that is bullshit, because the girlfriend also said in a different comment thread that there was another camera, not a video recorder, but just a camera for taking photos. That was missing from the house, so there's a chance that he took it with him. Why is that never acknowledged? The girlfriend said it herself. And furthermore, when it comes to a final text conversation with Kenny's nephew, Hunter Veach, Kenny said, "I've got a surprise for you. I'll show you when I get back from my hike." So he intended on returning back when you look at it that way. You see? Reiterate, and this is the other thing. If Kenny didn't take his camera with him, his video recorder, he didn't intend on filming anything, because what? He didn't intend on returning back? Then why take your phone then? There's no point, is there? Reiterating her love for him, she urged other caving fans to be careful if they want to pursue the same activities, but she wasn't the only one out there with theories. So she's not even confident herself. Oh, now this gets kind of interesting, to be honest. Susan Veach, Kenny's sister-in-law, spoke to Ewu. Who is Ewu? Also known as Explore With Us. Now, I'm guessing this is more recent. Ewu crew, originally it was Bob, I think, Emma, father and daughter, and then the other children along as a family. Exploring, going out, sometimes missing person cases and mysteries, other times just exploring the desert area, the Burning Man Festival, Area 51 related, and some kind of like homestead, buying a church and converting it into a place where people can live or so, but that's on their newer channel. In between, Ewu crew kind of drifted away from their main channel. I don't know if they sold it off or they passed it on to a crew of people to work on that channel, which just created and regurgitated the typical stories and mysteries and cases like what a lot of other channels out there do, where it becomes oversaturated. But the channel has been successful since and have gotten more views than maybe the older original exploration videos. But in the past, Ewu crew, Bob, Emma, they did go out there into the Mojave Desert looking about, not doing the hike, but kind of roughly in the area, talking to an expert or so in the middle of the night, in the dark of the desert, hanging out. Emma recorded a UFO flying over near to Nellis Air Force Base. All very interesting. That's just the backstory there in case you're wondering. But I'm guessing, though, if Susan Veach spoke to Ewu crew, it's probably more so in recent time. And it might not be with Bob and Emma, more so the new people that have taken over the channel. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? And they're claiming that there were no photos or videos taken of the M cave by him, which seemed off. Well, it's not off if Kenny didn't take his camera with him at the time when he first found it, because he wasn't intending on coming across it. I guess it all comes down to, what would Kenny Veach normally take with him on a hike? You know, he's uploaded some photos, 2012, 2013 of hikes out there and in various locations, whether he used his camera, whether he used his mobile phone or something to take a photo. Maybe some people don't take their cameras with them all places, but you think they'll probably take their phones most of the time just in case they needed to reach out for help if there's a signal. I don't know what phone Kenny Veach had at the time. If it was capable of taking photos, he could have at least used that as proof if it's relevant to the time. But yeah. Now, Susan Veach then claimed that it was not there and he did it all for attention, essentially faking his own death. As the thing, let's just say that the M cave doesn't exist and it's all faked. One thing for certain, the Mojave Desert, Jomay Canyon, which Kenny Veach hiked in and supposedly went missing in, whether he was aware or not, there are mysteries out there and it is dark. It's eerie. Experienced hikers SB, Jeff Clark, Sean Horlacher have been out there searching for Kenny and M Cave, and they've had their own individual strange, unexplained experiences. Very creepy, very strange, all documented on my channel as well as for analysis points. So, you get where it's going, this, I said about my alternative video, be on the lookout for it. Susan added that he likely didn't see this kind of media attention around his disappearance. Didn't see his... Right. Didn't see what? Didn't watch it all take place or didn't anticipate that it would grow. Footage emerged in July 2018 of a man breaking into a wellness centre and stealing an iPad from behind the counter in Las Vegas, which was owned by Kenny Veach's sister, Debbie Veach. Oh, I'm sorry. What's this? Not a single F given, not a single ounce of credit given to Godlike Productions, GLP, the catalyst behind finding this footage, piecing it together, and then the origins of Warlight Raph, myself, the catalyst, the first and only one to document this CCTV footage on YouTube, doing extensive analysis up close, and furthermore doing an analysis of footage inside the shop, looking at the crystal skulls, applying it to the mineshaft in which a crystal skull was found there in 2017 by Jeff Clark, unknown to him, but later found out through the years. Oh, I'm sorry, is Warlight Raph not credited? Nor GLP? How pathetic, how impetuous, how much shit research going on. It's pathetic, isn't it? Because of my coverage on YouTube and the CCTV footage, it brought all kinds of people out of the cracks. It was a catalyst in bringing people in and more discussions with time. And whilst granted, not everybody sees eye to eye with it, others strongly disagree and say the face proportions, the sizes don't match up to Kenny. It's a key talking point. Effort was put in terms of trying to retrieve some kind of material, right, and evidence to suggest an alternative story for Kenny. But no. This page does not credit Warlight Raph from the looks of it. What about YouTube? What about Ewu crew? Did they credit Warlight Raph? I wonder. Either way, moving on. Susan claimed that she knew it was him as he clutched his knee from a supposed injury. That supposed injury which Kenny did to himself on a 20-mile hike up a mountain, which has been mentioned in various articles in the past, where he needed to be airlifted and taken away. Long-lasting injury side effects, possibly. She said, Instantly, I was like, oh my God, that's Kenny. My heart fell out of my chest. I swear I broke out in a sweat. Now, it's not just Susan Veach that believed it's Kenny in the CCTV footage. For a short period of time, when it was shared to Kenny Veach's daughter, Vicky Veach, even she reacted and said, oh my God, it's him. It's really him. We best not do anything because I don't want my dad to be arrested or taken in. No. And then what happened later? Oh, Vicky did a U-turn and didn't think it was Kenny no longer. But in between, there was some other family members. I think there was like Bonnie Veach and some other people that believed it was Kenny or something. It's all documented on my channel, but obviously these people can't be bloody bothered to do the research or look back. And take in mind that my videos and titles are mostly appropriate and somewhat easy to find, unless the YouTube algorithm is silencing me. Topics. So it's interesting, it's got the tags YouTube, US News, Weird, Conspiracy Theory. Yeah, I know why they do that. It's done on purpose to diminish, to play down the importance of certain roles and possibilities. A theory, an idea is accepted, but a conspiracy one, ooh, naughty, naughty. Got to be very careful there and put the tinfoil hats on. See, not everything is that wacky or crazy if you use some form of common sense and you look at the material that's available. It is always possible that a person could fake their death or stage their disappearance. As to out of 100%, it likely being in this case, may vary, but still, it is a possibility. Seeing something you're not supposed to see and possibly being silenced. Why is that so out of the ordinary? Why is that considered a conspiracy? When considering that the military wanted to take over that land after Kenny Veach's disappearance, isn't that a coincidence? Why? Why did they want to do that? You look at Mac Adventures, father and son, traveling across the US via motorcycles, going to Area 51, the gates, crossing the line, then going quiet for 4 to 6 months, then appearing again on YouTube, just the son, acting off in a strange way. Something happened to them, kind of got in trouble. Emma, Bob, Ewu crew reached out to Mac Adventures, or at least the son, trying to figure out what happened. And there was a breakdown in communication at times. There was a bit of resistance, but eventually there was some kind of indirect answer to say that they did get in trouble and they were held somewhere for maybe a few months or so. And then after that, due to health issues with the father, they had to stop, sell the motorcycles. The son also said in his live stream or video on YouTube that no, there's nothing to see there. It's not worth it. There's nothing. Really? Big U-turn, isn't it? If human behaviour can change like that despite being so motivated and passionate with what you do and what you enjoy, to then suddenly, nope, want nothing to do with it, things have happened in between. As for Kenny Veach, more of an extreme scale possibly, to not even be able to return back publicly and get on with stuff. It's one way of looking at it. But these news articles, these media outlets, whether they're in on it or, you know, that could be a conspiracy itself, but still. It just seems like there's aims and attempts made to make people look crazy or weird, so they're less likely to be believed in. No different to when it was HLN, where they did a documentary on Kenny Veach, and the sister-in-law Susan Veach was interviewed and made an appearance in the show, but they cut out many parts and worded it to make it sound like she was crazy, less believable. Why did they do that exactly? Was there any outside influence, it makes you think? So, let that settle, take that into mind, leave your comments down below. We need to now look at the updates regarding Really Robin and what he's had to say in recent time. Really Robin, supposedly a fellow investigator from the past, a resurgence by them since, but possibly a fake version, an alternative person, an imitation, but why would they be doing that? Well, let's try and get to the bottom of it and see what people have said, including what Susan has on YouTube. I have adjusted it to the newest comments, and whether we get through all of them today, I'm going to try and skim through efficiently. We got Danny, welcome. Crazy, did not know there was a link between Robin with the red tape and the ghostly voice captured in Kenny's M Cave hike video. True, but the connection with the red tape is insane, like something paranormal must be going on there, but I ain't sure. I just want this mystery to be solved. There is something odd going on out there in the desert, whether it links to Kenny or not, because other hikers have had similar experiences. Now with Kenny, he didn't mention or quote anything about hearing noises, but he did capture it on camera unknown to him. But then again, that's what can happen with paranormal investigations. You might not hear or see everything in the moment, but when reviewing footage, if you do choose to do so, things do happen. But there is that other element of mysteries, creepy findings within the case, Kenny's original footage, or other hikers with time. And if stuff's found, documented, covered online, then it leads to a random reaction or gets people out from the cracks, the woodwork of strange dark forces that add on to the mystery, whether they're doing it on purpose, for a reason or not. Resistance, getting too close to the truth, trying to scare, push people away, who knows. And as Just Me says, the plot thickens. It does in a way. Raph, I can't find his channel. Well, link has been provided. In response to Jeff Clark, I expect a Susan-level proof tape insisting that that's Kenny, but nothing conclusive. Well, hold that thought, Jeff Clark, because Susan does comment on the red tapes. Jeff says, I highly doubt this new really Robin is the original, and I'm positive that the crystal skull he shows is not the original. None of the crystal skulls that have been shown are the original. Whoever took the original did it very early on, years before any of these people even came on the scene. So maybe I've forgotten, but did really Robin or the fake account actually show a video of him holding a crystal skull? Not to be mixed up with the Outpost. Is it Outpost or some other guys? Yeah, Outpost Mojave that went there themselves. Not put it there, but took it away. You know, different channels. Just let me know, Jeff Clark. I just don't want to get too confused. Mousetrap, you're welcome. Glenn, people seeking attention, dime a dozen. Really, Robin has proven to be one of them. Which one are you referring to, Glenn? The original Robin or this second account? Cool says, backlash is the least of his worries for Kenny. It's illegal, and if caught, he'll go to jail. Tax evasion, evading financial responsibilities, insurance fraud, etc. Response-wise, Susan does step on him. There's a statute of limitations on which is 10 years, so Kenny could be sitting it out, waiting for a little more time to pass to make sure he's in the clear. Then he'll come out and say it was a joke. The money he will stand to make after he comes out will be an instant millionaire, and all his financial issues will be gone. But if he did come out publicly, there could be a great wave of backlash online by those that were worried for him after all this time. But then again, people do have a goldfish mentality and probably bow down and beg him and be all nice if he did come back. But, you know, the real ones wouldn't forget. Susan says, you obviously never met Kenny. He wants to be known as a hero, not a con man. He'll never come forwards. Response-wise, well, if you're actually Susan, Google states you're his sister-in-law. Furthermore, it states this Susan Veach, Kenny's sister-in-law, spoke to Ewu crew and claimed that there were no photos or videos taken of the M cave. So this is like kind of like a reference to that article what we read recently. Claimed it was not there, etc., etc. When you broke into your store, I'm sure you'd recognise your brother, especially unmasked, but failed attempts, his inventions. Then he comes up with the M cave and disappeared. I think not everything was staged. He's alive according to your comments, so I'm assuming you know more than what's out there, which is wrong on so many levels, because now many of other people are putting themselves at risk in an attempt to locate and find Kenny, who may or may not even exist. The cave could be made up, yet people risk their lives day after day over false information he shared, then scared everyone by disappearing. He will come out one day and say it's a hoax and he will become an instant millionaire. That's did he save anyone? Did he do anything heroic? What heroic about hiking alone with no supplies for 80 miles? Shaking my head. Nothing heroic in that, Susan. But when you say he will never come forwards, I find strange. What do you mean? I mean, I just don't think he would come forwards with the backlash that follows after all this time, right? And if there was any follow-ups from the past, would be police or any other stuff we may have not heard of before. Susan Veach, with what she supposedly knows of, she has warned hikers it's not worth going out there. At the end of the day, hikers can make their own choice whether they want to go out there or not, searching for Kenny or, more so, the M cave. And even if that didn't exist, there are still mysteries out there, so it's not a wasted trip. As long as you know what you're doing and you want to go, you should be allowed to. But I can understand why Susan, with what she knows of, or supposedly knows of, wouldn't want people going out there risking their lives when Kenny doesn't give a damn about it at the end of the day, in the background. So this is all the different perspectives. Are you talking about Kenny Veach or am I really Robin? Is Robin lying? Yeah. So according to Google and other YouTubers that have covered this topic, Susan Veach's sister to some degree, not sure if this Susan is just some fake profile. It is the real Susan, and she has been around long enough by now. She had to change her profile picture to a certain comment or something to prove that she was real, and so The issue is, and not everybody sees eye to eye or may get on well or communicate well with Susan Veach and vice versa, but there's been times where maybe Susan could have been pushed into a corner or pushed away, which some people may think was needed. But at the end of the day, if you've got a key individual, whether you agree with them or not, it's worth, you know, letting them talk or just hearing what they've got to say. Because if you push people away too much, they may never return back. And if they can help in the case or provide some kind of perspective to some extent, it's worth making the most of, right? You know, just like if you had a hiker, you start disrespecting a hiker, pushing them away, and they feel like, oh, it's not worth continuing or hiking. You kind of reducing those opportunities of learning about the case and keeping it alive. So, going to try and keep it under control. What else do we have? Kenny, there's a whole rabbit hole to jump down in regards to Robin's channel, which has been covered by Warlight Raph, who does a great investigation. Appreciate that. Shout out to Crooked Tales. However, like everyone else comes up with nothing. There's just my theory. But regardless of what happened, there can only be 3 possible outcomes. See, as for the really Robin in the past, the original Robin, later supposedly called out to be some kind of police informant or working with police, wanting to chat, hang out with Jeff Clark, Sean Horlecker, but in a dodgy way, spying or getting notes, but it didn't work out and his cover was blown or so, and that's why he went quiet. All kinds of crazy stuff going on there. Susan, yes, Kenny is alive, but his claim he's really Robin is a lie, so let's see what plays out. I'm Kenny's ex-sister-in-law. Right. Things got a little confusing when you stated Kenny Veach as a stage name, but I am Kenny's sister-in-law. Kenny wanted to be famous for his hikes, as told by Sharon on the HLM, but he does not want to be known as a villain. How do you know what he wants? Has he recently told you? Just saying your statement seems as if you're alluding to him being alive and, well, and nothing I said makes him a villain by any means. What did he tell you last time he talked to you? Oh wait, he has never spoken to you. I have known Kenny since he was 18 and we have had many talks over the last 40 years. Even Sharon said on the HLN Kenny wanted to become famous for his videos. The public has gone after people like Sherry Papini, whoever that is, Carly Russell, for faking their disappearances, and I can assure you Kenny does not want negative attention. Yeah, it's what comes with it afterwards, the backlash. Shout out to Sharon. We'll be doing an appointment at some point. Calling out, this was very interesting, anything possible. Shout out to Nora, the Explorer. That's a good name. You can definitely hear someone saying, follow the red tape. Response-wise, where? It's in my video. You play back a few times. Creepy. Have you heard the extra footsteps? No, I haven't. That's interesting. If you turn up your volume and listen closely. So, Nora the Explorer, if you go back to my channel, whether it be my short videos or my normal format ones, like Kenny Veach isn't alone out there, or female laugh caught on camera, you go to my most popular videos, you'll find the stuff there, right? Because it isn't just one noise, it's multiple, it's creepy. So just be on the lookout for that, Nora. Susan says, if you listen to tape number 3 on the supposed Robin's channel, at the 23-second mark, fake Robin states, in quotes, if you look at the picture you sent me, clearly this is just someone recording a random phone conversation. I know who the true Robin is because I spoke to his friend who was in several of the videos with him. Really, Robin is no longer making videos due to his mental health. Now, I reached out to the real, original Robin way back at the start when he was going quiet. See, I did something most people don't normally do, and most people haven't done in the Noah Presgrove case community. I sensed things were going to go dark, right, in all ways. I got screenshots, I got before and afters, got video clips, remnants, everything as best as I could, and it was very helpful, and it helped with keeping certain elements alive with time, as you'd be familiar with. But with taking that in mind, I did a Q&A with Robin. It's available on my channel if you want to see his original responses. And I might have done an updated one too on Instagram. I don't know if I shared it or not. And that was more so from Robin's supposed friend that reached out to me. And I was basically going along the lines of, you know, okay, things are going on with Robin. He's being questioned. He doesn't want the attention. And then I was like, well, could I provide an update to try and squash that so it helps him too? And then the friend said, oh yeah, Robin's going to be speaking out anyway on his channel, or he's going to create a channel, or he's going to return back in some way, do a video explaining everything. Months, years later, did he do it? No. And now supposedly it's due to mental health. Well, Robin said to me at the time he was walking away from YouTube to be closer to God for religious reasons. That could also be because of mental health. He wants to feel something. He needs some guidance in many different ways. But still, maybe the reasons have changed with time, depending on how you look at it. Now, really, Robin, this one says, you're fake. Green skin Susan. Anyone can make an account and claim to be Susan. I know all your secrets. So is Kenny Veach friend, Lemmy. Lemmy Kilmister. A friend. Really? If Lemmy was a friend, why did Kenny Veach respond to him as in a stranger online? There's a reason close family don't want to be involved, as they know it's simply not real, Susan. Not going to reply on your ignorant comments. The R word as all your species. Now, this type of really Robin with the language and certain words, it's not something that the real Robin would normally say. You know what I'm saying? Susan says, though, your mental illness is showing. I'll be sure to say a prayer for you. It is the real Susan, yeah. Right. So I know Susan said the original Robin was walking away due to mental health, but now is Susan responding to this fake account as having mental illnesses too, or like a link to the real Robin? It's a bit of a tongue twister. We got Farhan, is he really alive? Can we watch the footage of him alive? Well, it all comes down to that Robin account, whether they want to piss about, drag things out, or they're just wasting people's time. Time will tell them. Crook says, hey bro, I hope you take this the right way. Basically, it's just saying that the case isn't that important. It's fake or yeah, whatever. Jeff says, well, it's quite a synopsis and conclusion. Even most of it's wrong. It's very much a possibility to say I'm wrong. It's far-fetched unless you know something we don't. Check what Kenny's sister just told me. He's alive. She knows. Even if Kenny was alive and away from the desert has mysteries within. Susan does say, I never said that. You're no authority over this matter. Oh, no, not the authority. Right, Jeff Clark, round up J Chuck Vlogs right now. Oh, ni hao, J Chuck Vlogs, come here right now. And J Silverheels, anyway, penguins, come on in. We got the chain of command. The chain of command has come back once again. Everybody gather up and let's talk about it. I remember when J Chuck mentioned it in the past. Oh my goodness. Anyway, Crooked says, you literally said he wants to be known as a hero, not a con man. Then you said he will never come forward. What is that supposed to mean? Well, it pretty much makes sense. Just wording from this particular comment. Wants to be a hero in a sense of hiking out there, being brave and, pushing yourself and doing what you enjoy and unfortunate circumstances, supposedly. But actually him possibly faking his disappearance, benefiting in other ways somehow, starting a new life possibly, but not being able to come forwards later publicly because he could be seen as a con man and it'll tarnish his reputation or tarnish his overall image, but he faked it all. I mean, it can make sense. The longer you keep a lie up, the harder it is to break out from it. Susan, neither are you, poser. He's a real person. You claimed he had a stage name, not me. Robin says, that was the point from day one, just as his good old friend Lemmy. Yeah, we don't have much backstory behind that. Like your green skin, Monica, Susan, fill these fools. You're not superior over these people and all your secrets. I know yours too, and your collection of cassettes. Once a liar, always a liar. From someone who's fake himself. It means if he's still alive, he's liking his anonymity for some reason. We don't know why. We don't know what to think. Lean to the face. Yeah. Jeff Clark comes on in. Which part of your book do you want me to say you are wrong about? You are wrong about most of it. As for Susan, she has never provided one bit of proof for anything that she has to say about this mystery, aside from her obvious hatred for Kenny and most of her Veachers, that is. It's not Kenny in the break-in CCTV footage in his brother and sister-in-law's store. I've proven that on my channel. Kenny would be 51 years old at the time, not 30 like that crackhead who was looking for a cash box. I highly doubt a hoax. Now, are we talking about the first break-in of 2018 or the one that occurred a few years later? Because I think the one that happened a few years later, the person does look different. And me personally, if there was to be a break-in, it's more likely the 2018 one rather than the later one, because I honestly don't think Kenny Veach would return back a second time round. That would be a bit dumb, right? But yeah, I'm just giving my thoughts to an extent. I mean, Susan has provided some never-seen-before text messages and conversations with Kenny Veach, with Hunter Veach. Extremely important because it revealed what Kenny Veach's plan was if he didn't find the M cave, hike 45 miles north, right? So, whilst people may not agree with everything Susan has said or done, Susan has provided some important screenshots and conversations which most people would never have had the chance to see if it wasn't for Susan. So, gotta take that in mind. Then Robin says to Smooth Fishing, "Prove it, bitch." So, this language and wording is very unlike the real original Robin, which basically means that this person claiming to be really Robin is really acting out, showing themselves up as a fake. They're not doing themselves any favours. They're digging themselves into a hole, but this is all natural and you see how things go. Moving on. Come on. If this person has video evidence or any evidence at all, the guy is alive, he's holding out for some clickbait, view building, anniversary date, as one big piece of shit, and I dare say even potentially criminal depending on the official status of the case itself. Now, I did say that there have been people over time and in other cases who didn't have a channel to create nor made an attempt to do so or grow, but they still dropped breadcrumbs. There's other reasons. I mean, for God's sake, this man is missing. He's a human being, and here people are clamoring on about some dropping breadcrumbs like it's some QAnon BS conspiracy. Well, you're the one using those fancy buzzwords and quirky lines, not me. So we'll leave it there, personally. Jesus, this is just, I don't know, infuriating, sad to me. Well, you're still here commenting, so you must be somewhat invested. Dexter, 10 years later. Jackson, username, you're welcome, shout out. Salted Cracker, have I heard that name before? Wish we could see the footage, we'll see with time. Interesting, Susan Veach, really Robin, made contact in the comments. His sister-in-law. Now, sister-in-law, ex-sister-in-law, is that the same thing? It's just because just recently it's the first time I've heard ex-sister-in-law. Previously, it's only been worded as sister-in-law, whatever. Do you call it ex because Kenny's no longer around? I couldn't hear this statement, follow the red tape. Why is he stringing us all along? I mean, I would have answered some of the questions beforehand. I hate breadcrumbs. Like I said before, people have comments saying, check this number, so I would check, and definitely voices. Okay, interesting, you're welcome. Glad you liked the video. So confused. Just confused about the whole story. Really, Robin, red tape, etc. It's just all very confusing. You're doing an astonishing job. Appreciate that. Shout out to Knox. I don't know if you know Knox, but I've done 400 plus videos on this case, and there's a lot that's come with it. Just to minimise it, to maybe help you. Really Robin and the red cassette tapes, it's just supposedly interviews to try and prove his, concept of what's going on, but it's just not good enough, and you can definitely question the voices in those tapes. The reason why they're red, a reference to red tapes, is only because of me, or more so because of me. I did a video which picked up audio in Kenny's hike where it sounded like a ghostly voice saying, follow the red tape. Very creepy. And with mysteries, sub-mysteries within a bigger mystery, when you pick up on it, cover it, upload it online, other people catch onto it and possibly take it as inspiration for their own little ARG and creepy stuff online to, whether it be as a distraction, attention-seeking, faked, you know what I'm saying? So, put aside Robin and his red tapes, it's not that big of a deal. What's more important is the red tape line and the alternative reference to that, as in Kenny's hike video. Story just gets weirder and weirder, it's hard to keep up. Well, I've got a playlist with a range of different videos, so you can check that when you've got time. On Really Robin's channel, it shows there is a premiere for November 10th o'clock, and it shows that he is providing footage of Kenny 2 years ago. Let's see if it's him. I mean, yeah, time will tell. Wouldn't surprise me if it's disappointing. Wouldn't surprise me if it's a bit of a short video, but who knows, could be surprise. But just don't get your hopes on it, right? Don't hype it up. I checked on mobile and I couldn't see the scheduled video. Maybe it's only available to view on desktop, but there we go. And Cody, is that Cody the one I saw in the past? I don't know. It's going to be some blurry and conclusive nothing burger. Dude, it's still there. What's still there? Why wouldn't you use the same Robin profile as before? I thought you did. Or maybe it's changed. Following this case from Brazil. Thanks for the share. You're welcome. Welcome to the channel. It's good to see. Andrew Colver. Really, Robin does it again. And you know what? We probably need Batman. Andrew says, I am Batman. Well, I have a Batman pillowcase. I mean, it counts. Maybe you put the pillow on your head, providing you can actually breathe through it. You can pretend to be Batman and save the day. That might be what we need. So that's pretty much it for the comments. All in all, hopefully you found this video somewhat interesting. Be sure to hit the like button and share it so more people learn from the points of views of what Susan had to say, her outlook, the interesting news article today which made references to her, and Eru Crew, which I wasn't expecting to see. So it is more recent, this Lad Bible or whatever you call it article, but they still failed to make references or credit Warlight Raph, Jeff Claw, SB Vegas Adventures, Sean Horlacker, of course, Atari. It's typical, isn't it? But there we go. Time will tell as to what happens next, but just be on the lookout for more videos to come. My name's Warlight Raph. I'll see you next time. Goodbye for now.